When I was young, I probably never thought of being 63 years old and having an 8-year-old, but God has His own plans for us.
He only weighed 3 pounds when he was born, and he was 10 weeks early. I mean, when you picked him up, he was like, I don't know, maybe a loaf of French bread. He just couldn't even bend.
Mom's like, okay, we're gonna take on this little kid, here's a picture. It's like, what? It's gonna be a lot of work. You guys are almost grandma age.
And we first met Charlie when he was 5 months old. I got a phone call from one of the nurses at Children's Hospital, and she said she had a little boy she wanted me to meet that she thought needed to be in our family.
He just laid there, had real puffy little cheeks from all the steroids to just keep him alive.
I was kind of taken aback by how ill he was and how many problems he seemed to have. His arms were deformed. That was probably caused by a spinal cord injury that happened very early in the pregnancy. And he couldn't breathe on his own, so he actually had to be on a ventilator for 5 months before he could take his own breath. He had a bag for his waste to drain into, and he couldn't suck and swallow. He had to have a feeding tube.
Where you see kids with 1,000 tubes on them and they have disabilities, and you say to yourself, is this all worth it? And then you say, how are they going to end up later in life?
You know, and even though he didn't make very good eye contact and he wasn't responding in any way or smiling or anything, you could just see like there was this little tiny spark in there. And Linda, the nurse that had called me, said to me, I know there's a little boy in there waiting to come out and play, Kathy, and he just needs a family.
When he originally moved here, it was to have a comfortable, safe place to live until he died. I guess after a year or so, we knew that he would be with us forever, and we decided that he had too much gumption to give up, and he was a permanent member of the family.
I was happy that I had a little child to take care of. And when he was a baby, they said he couldn't do anything, he was gonna die. But I find that's a miracle because he's able to do these things.
Well, as you see, Charlie can speak now, and the same with the walking. They just didn't think he'd ever be able to walk because of all the disabilities he had.
Once he had a family and he got to feel what it was like to be loved and have consistent care and loving around the clock by the same people, he just started to come out of himself.
They say why is he different? Why can't he use his hands and swallow? I just say because he was born that way. And sometimes when we go out to eat, it's kind of embarrassing because people stare at us.
I've always said this is just the way Charlie was born, but he's just like you. He wants friends, he wants to play, he wants to know more about you. And I'll say, can you pick up a brick with your foot? Or can you pick up a dime with your foot? No, I can't do that. He said, well, Charlie can because he's had a lot of practice.
He's taught me about perseverance in a way that I never understood before.
As we run towards Hercules, there's a hill there that is pretty tough. And he always wants me to run up that hill and push him. And there was one day that I said that, Charlie, I just can't run that hill today. I'm exhausted, I just can't run. He said, well, let me out, I'll run up it. I said, sure. And so I got him out of the chair and he slowly trudged up that hill. There's nothing he can't do or nothing he won't try to do, so it's amazing.
Charlie has a little teddy bear that he named Abe. And I said, why did you name your bear Abe? He says, because he's able to do anything he wants to do. He says, like me, I'm able to do anything I want to do. I just do it differently.
I told him if he wanted to be anything, he could be anything.
Because he's totally into race cars, so his dream is that he's going to grow up and go to NASCAR and drive race cars. People look at Charlie and they think he has so many differences and he's so disabled, but he is such a warm-hearted, friendly, little spirited person. I really think God sent him here as a teacher. He's taught me a lot about patience. He's taught me a whole lot about loving unconditionally with no guarantees of what the future's going to bring. So Charlie, although he's lived far longer than anyone expected him to, he still is quite fragile. You know, whether or not he'll live through childhood and into adulthood, we don't know, because he's really only 3 minutes away from choking to death at any given minute. When people say, oh, I'm pregnant, and you say, do you want a boy or a girl? And they say, I don't care as long as it's healthy. I don't even believe that anymore. I don't believe that healthy is the perfection we're looking for.
I really and truly believe that every child should be born and given a chance at life, even if it's 1 day or 1 week or 1 month.
Just being alive, just having God's grace to make it to birth is a gift in itself.